Hello people, it's me again. Yeah. Well, we got COVID here, so I'm staying home and what else to do than fixing on the cars. So I had a lot of spare parts lying around and I just decided that I want to build this Kraton 1.8 EXB car that I'm gonna call TARZAN. I'm just reading this classic book, TARZAN, King of the Apes. So this is a regular Kraton 1.8 EXB body. I just done some painting on it and you have these black stripes. So that's why I call it TARZAN. And this is gonna be the sort of car that you do all crazy stuff with that you don't want to do with your other cars. So this car will have a lot of destruction, that for sure. Also I had two Kraton EXB chassis lying. So what I'm now gonna do, I'm gonna make this car with double chassis. You just put two on top of each other and they fit very nice. Because this chassis is 3mm thick, I will use screws that are 3mm longer. And see in the descriptions, I will list all the screws you need. Electronics in this car will be Hobbywing MAX8 with, what is it, 2200 kV motor. And I'm gonna try out the 15-tooth pinion first. So that should give this car very good speed. So I come back when the car is more or less assembled, but I don't have the electronics yet, so I have to wait for that a few days. So keep in shape and take care. Bye. Yeah, you can see the two chassis. Can you see that's double chassis? Fits like gloves, I want to say. And here I got the longer screws in different length. So I'm not just now gonna assemble it. I have my other Kraton down here. Yep, no time to drive the nitro car now. I have to wait for better weather and also I got COVID, so I have to wait till I get a bit better. So far so good. I have the center differential with the motor mount. The servo is come in. I'm just using a cheap DS 3225 MG servo. It's good for bashing. And the steering unit. Next I'm gonna, I believe I'm gonna mount the complete front. I'm not sure what they call this complete piece. This gonna be mounted here. All right.
25 minutes,
Pizza, ja, 200 grader. Oh, COVID. All right. Yes, mounted more pieces. The only little thing I had to adjust was that, if you can see, because of the double chassis, when mounting the basher bumper, I had to add this nut here for all of these three screws. So just add a 3mm nut there on the inside. I can see that for the servo mount it was not needed to use longer screws, so I got the stock screws. That's the one that's black here. So I keep mounting. I'm gonna mount this RPM 81812 bumper in the rear to give a bit protection in the rear. It's a good bumper, but there's one issue with these, and that is the plastic don't take cold very good. So when you're driving outside in the winter, when the temperature is down to 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, these we have seen this break many times. It breaks here. My throat is not very good because of the COVID, but still mounting. So I'm gonna mount this in the rear, and then I'm gonna mount the wing, I believe, rear wing. So I can come back later. Well, I believe I've done most of the assembling now. I don't want to do the rest now because it's easier access when I gonna install the electronics, the ESC and the motor. So I'll wait a bit before I install the battery tray and the receiver box. And here is the EC mount that will be on this side. So I'll wait also because I install the EC on it before I put it in here. And the rest is just these guards, side guards, and some front guards to the front there. So that was really all. And as you maybe can see, we got this double chassis. It's the Kraton 1.8 EXB chassis, 2 of them. So I just used some bigger screws. Not always it was necessary. As I said, when I mounted was it the servo mount, I don't need it. The longer screws. You can see it's the stock black screws. The steel screws are a bit longer. Yes, also for the chassis support I used the stock screws, but that was only because I didn't have the right screws, or they was a bit weak, so I used the stock screws here and here. Yeah. For this car, I got this 3D RC insert here. It's more flexible. The stock one is in a plastic that is a bit harder and typically breaks. I also got the, what it's called, the shock mounts are the Score RC head parts. Yes, you can see the logo here. And fine, they make shock mounts that are 4 mm, so you have to drill the holes to 4 mm. And they also are when you break the shock mounts, you only have to find a new screw. You don't waste the complete shock mount, because this is just this is a part for itself, and you have the long screw that goes through it, and you have just a nut there. Is it anymore? That's not. I got the custom RC upgrades pin blocks on the rear here, in the front rear and in the rear. That was just some I had in the spare, so I could use them. If not, I've just used the stock ones, but they're a bit more strong. Also, a friend of me, he do 3D printing, so he printed these mud guards. They are very flexible, so they don't break even in the cold. They will not break, because we had some other ones that was a bit more stiffer, but when we were driving in the winter time and some rocks were coming from the front wheels and hitting on here, these will just break, crack and break if they was in a more stiff plastic. So these are good enough, very flexible as you can see. Well, for the rear wing mount, yes, here Arma really has a job to do, that's for sure. This wing mount is crazy weak. It's in hard plastic, and I believe some of the things that people break first on these cars is this wing mount. So here Arma has a job to do, just make some new wing mount in a more flexible material, so you can flex it up. What I have done here now, I'm not using the screws here, because typically when this one break, you land on the rear and you got a hit here on the wing, and then it crack upwards like this. And the screws, there are two screws there, one there and one there, they will just crack here. And to get the screws removed, you have to disassemble the whole complete shock, what is called again? Yeah, this shock mount here. So it takes takes a bit of time. There are some people who makes wing mount in more flexible material. 3DRC is doing that. You can buy that on the internet. I also got a friend that are making these in more flexible material, but I'm just using the stock one now, and I just want to see how long this holds. Now when I remove the screws down here, so it's now only mounted in the front here with the bolts here, if you can see that. Not using the screws in the rear. Then later when this is gonna break, this for sure gonna break, then I'm gonna shift to a more flexible and also not use the screws here, because I'm really tired and bored of these screws breaking. I also heard some people are drilling up the holes to 4mm and using 4mm screws here, and they say that they hold longer. I'm not sure. But again, Arma do something here. Make a better rear wing mount. Is it anything other? I don't believe it. It's not a very upgraded car. But of course we have the two chassis. That's the biggest upgrade really. So if you have a 1.8 Kraton EXB, see if you can find used extra EXB chassis. A lot of people sell them because they buy this roller and they want to use the M2C chassis, so they sell the stock one, and so you can sometimes find this quite cheap. And if you have two of them, I believe this must be as strong as the M2C, because this is 6mm of what Arma is calling, let's see where it stands, they call this 7075 aluminium, I believe. I just can't find where it doesn't say here. No, I can't find a label. I believe it used to say 7075. Just me going blind because of the COVID. No, I don't know. But anyway. Well, it's maybe it's here on the upside, yes. Yes, there it is. Here it is, yes. There you can see it. 7075 aluminium, extreme bash. Well, a single one of these is 3mm. And if you bash hard, high jumping, and of course bad landing, this will bend So a lot of people doing extreme bashing are upgrading to the MTC. That's a very good chassis. But now I'm gonna try double chassis of this and see if it hold up. I'm waiting for the motor and the ESC. Then I'm gonna install the electronics. Also, when I have this in front of me, these two screws here for the motor mount. Arma, please remove them and change to other screws. I of course gonna do that. I don't have some screws here now I need, but I'm gonna change to some sort of steel screws. I'm not sure what's wrong with these screws. The metal is just so weak. When you try to tighten them, you will often break or the thread here, you know. Now, not the thread in the screw, but here on the top. So to have to remove them again, you have to. I used my Dremel and I just cut this slide in here, and I used a flat screwdriver to remove them again. So change these to Arma and all other people. So that's all, I believe. I'll be back later when this car is finished. And this car I'm gonna give the name Tarzan, because this car I'm gonna use for crazy stunts and crazy stupid jumps and everything that I don't want to do with my other cars. So this car gonna take a lot of abuse, and it'll be interesting to see how much it hold up. So Tarzan is the name of this car. Tarzan will be back later. Yes, no, Tarzan is ready. Well, it's not got any electronics. It's just the body and the wheels now. But this is the look. Yes. This is the look. So, be back when this is ready for driving.